Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Thank you for being here. My name is Andrew, coming to you from beautiful Costa Rica. Today's topic is going to be, you have to see it for yourself. Think about that for a minute. Guys, if you like the content, please subscribe. So, the narcissistic relationship, many of you know what it is. Many of you are beginning to become awakened and aware. Many of you have no idea. Maybe this is your first video educating yourself on narcissism. The point is, many times people that are in narcissistic relationships, perhaps it's your sibling, your neighbor, coworker, spouse, whomever, but you are being treated differently than the general public. And many times when you are trying to explain your circumstances or your situation, that this individual is, something's wrong here, they're a narcissist or they're a toxic individual. And many times people will say, what are you talking about? Like, they're so kind and loving and nice to me. Like, I don't follow it. They're always accommodating. They're great. So then that goes back to the thumbnail. You have to see it for yourself. What this means is there are two sides to the narcissistic relationship. Remember, the narcissist is one person to you, another individual to the general public. Now, this is all on purpose. It's by the narcissist. It's exactly why the narcissist stays stealthy and undercover so often, because people in general, people, not you, but people don't get large doses of the narcissist at one time. Example, let's say that they were a family member. Well, you lived with this person when you were growing up, or you saw them so frequently, so you saw the mask slip. You saw poor behavior and poor characteristics, and you saw exactly that this person perhaps is a narcissist, certainly a toxic individual. And others who only see this individual in short periods of time, example, maybe they only see this person once a year at the holidays. Well, that's not enough time to explain. It's not enough time. It's not enough information for this person to make an informed decision about the toxic individual. I hope you followed that. It's the people that are closest to the narcissist that get the brunt of the toxic relationship, the wrath, if you will, of the narcissist. And this is done, again, on purpose. The reason why is because these people are expected to be there for the narcissist through thick and thin, until, as all narcissistic relationships do, they expire. And that's when perhaps you were discarded, or you ended it, or you went gray rock or no contact, whatever you did. My hope is you've gone, you've exited the relationship, gone no contact, blocked the narcissist, removed all flying monkeys and people associated with them, and you're living your best life. But you have to see it for yourself. And on this planet, remember, many times people tell you some amazing stories, sensational stories that in fact are true, but you kind of had to be there to understand it. Do you know what I mean? You remember when you were at barbecues or talking with people around the water cooler or whatever, and you just experienced something like amazing over the weekend. This is not with narcissism, by the way. Something just amazing just happened. Like, and you try to explain it to somebody and they're like, wow, that sounds amazing, but I don't quite get it, because I wasn't there. So that's how it is with narcissistic abuse. You have to see it to believe it. And remember, the narcissist many times is under cloak and dagger. They don't want to be discovered, which is why they have little groups and or sects, S-E-C-T-S, of people that they isolate from each other. So in other words, let's say they have 5 different groups of friends, hypothetically. Well, when group A discovers, wow, something's wrong here, this person's toxic, I don't want to deal with them, they just disband from that person, or perhaps the whole group, who knows. They move on to group B, and they replace group A with group F. I hope you follow this. That's why the narcissist cannot maintain and or sustain long-term relationships in any capacity. Romantic, friendship, business, neighbor, coworker. If you're a part of a religious group or an organization, it's the same thing. It's because, you see, the narcissist inflicts so much pain and manipulating techniques, let's put it that way, on individuals that eventually they get found out. Now, again, I'm not suggesting on this channel, I haven't before and I won't now, never call the narcissist out. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that people are becoming awakened and aware, and they're fine-tuning their skills on who a toxic individual is and who perhaps isn't. And many times it takes people to actually have to experience the narcissistic abusive cycle, to go through it, and to actually process everything, to come through the other side, rise through the ashes like a phoenix and become the third version of you, which is the best version of you possible, to understand that, wow, I see what's going on. I saw what was going on for a period of my life, or perhaps my whole life, and now I have boundaries. Now I am a person who does not people please. I know how to say the magic word no, and I don't just agree with others. But so many people that, as we speak, are living in the everyday fog, and they are just not really tuned into who they are. And if you're not tuned into who you are, you certainly can't tune into what others are. Play that again. But these people, they could be experiencing toxic individuals or narcissistic abuse, and they don't even know it. Maybe they just can't, they don't have the education, so they just think, oh, this person, every Friday they have a blow up, they have a rage fit on me at work, and it's just the way it is, and they just go about their business. It's become par for the course. In other words, they just tolerate this poor behavior. Or another example, the workplace bully, who it's Friday at 5 o'clock, you punch out, and this person expects/demands you to be available Friday evening, Saturday morning, Sunday morning, including when you're sick, you're injured, holidays, vacations, whatever. Because why? Because they want to disrupt your time. And these kind of experiences you have to see to believe, or you have to go through them to believe it. Because the workplace bully is a great example. Let's say you were working for a company and you were injured and you could not work any longer for a period of time. So you were put on sick leave or whatever it's called. And you were given a written excuse from the doctor for, let's say, 2 weeks. Stay away from work. And you were told to not, and I repeat, not contact work, because you're supposed to be left alone to heal. By the way, this is a real example. And what happens? Well, the workplace bully, what do? They don't check up on you, ask you how you're doing. They're texting you, hammering you, telling you to log in, telling you need to be working, saying, tough it out, you're gonna get better, you're not really sick, you're strong, what are you doing? You should be in the office, I can't believe that you're wasting company time, things like that. And that kind of experience, which I experienced firsthand, is not anything you wanna go through, because what happens here is when you're healing from a physical injury, or you are supposed to be healing from a physical injury, the workplace is supposed to leave you alone so you can heal. That's why it's called sick leave, or whatever you wanna term it. But the narcissist/workplace bully can't have that, can they? Why? Because they're envisioning you on the beach in Tahiti, drinking endless bottles of water, just living your best life, when in fact nothing could be further from the truth. You're on your couch in discomfort and pain, and you're struggling to get your strength back and trying to build yourself back up, but that's not how they see it. In other words, they want to kick you when you're down. And that experience, I just touched on a brief moment. I will delve into that so much deeper at a later date, but that is something you would have to see to believe. And yet I experienced it, and I'm sure many of you watching the video have experienced something similar as well. You see, narcissistic behavior, it's irrational. There's no rhyme or reason. What is up is down, what is in is out, what is black is white. It's the whole world turned upside down, and the longer you stay in these relationships, no matter what they are, the more toxic they get. And remember, they do have an expiration date. It's just a matter of time before you're gonna quit that job, get another job, you're gonna get discarded, or you're gonna leave the relationship, or you're gonna block the person, whatever you do. However, so many things happen in these relationships with the narcissistic abusive cycle that people can't wrap their head around it until when? That's right, until it happens to them. And then that's when they begin to believe it, because now they see it. So that goes back to what I mentioned in the beginning of the video. Many people can't wrap their head around narcissistic abuse because they didn't experience it. They have no clue. They can read all the books, they can watch all the videos, they can talk to therapists all day long, but unless you've actually gone through the fire and experienced this for a period of time, sorry, you just can't relate. You can't. You can think you can, but you can't. Now, having said that, it goes back to what I said in the thumbnail. You have to see it to believe it. And there are so many, I would say a couple billion people on the planet that have experienced this. And whether they have the education on the narcissistic abusive cycle now or not, my hope is they're getting it and they're healing and or are healed. But there are people, countless people, that have gone through this virtually for their whole lives. Think about people pre-internet. They had no chance. They really didn't. Because back then, let's say you were married or you had a job. Well, your job you're expected to stay at for 10, 20, 30, 50 years, get a pension. And if you had a workplace bully as a boss, that could not have been good. Other thing is if you were married, remember, let's say 40, 50 years ago, marriage was different than what it was today. It was more of a bond, of a trust, of a unity, of a growth, of more of a family orientation relationship. Today, what, marriage, or what's the divorce rate? I don't know, 70%? I don't know what it is, and I'm not making light of marriage. I'm saying that people before the internet, it was a whole different world 50 years ago than it is now. Now you can get the education, the wisdom on channels like mine and many others. And again, thank you very much for being here, with just the click of a button. And that's beautiful. So before I close the video out, I want to let you know that there are many things on this planet you have to see to believe. Narcissistic abuse is one. You can think you know what it is, you can claim you know what it is, but unless you've actually seen it and or experienced it firsthand, you don't. And it doesn't make anybody a better or worse individual. We're all human beings. My hope is we're all helping each other out, living our best lives. But there are certain things on this planet that you have to see to believe, and narcissistic abuse is certainly one of them. Guys, that's the video. I hope you liked it. I loved doing it from beautiful Costa Rica. This is Andrew. Namaste. Have a great afternoon. Stay true, stay blessed, continue to become awakened and aware, and understand you are amazing and loved. God bless you. You are not alone. Remember that. No matter where you are on the planet, you're not alone, and I will talk to you tomorrow. All right, good night.